Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is A Course in Miracles 365, Awakening to Love. I'm Reverend Tomas Garza. And what we've got here today is a really interesting topic. So let's just jump right into it. It's what is the role of religion in psychotherapy, or the role of religion in healing, the role of someone's background in a student-teacher relationship? Hmm. Interesting question, isn't it? Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what a person's background or formal training in religion or spirituality even is. Doesn't matter what spiritual tradition you follow. Doesn't make any difference what spiritual tradition the teacher follows. You all are here to learn from one another, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. It's not even necessary that you believe in God in any realistic sense to start learning. It's not. This is one of the things that I love about A Course in Miracles is that it's universal. It's part of what Jesus refers to as a universal course, a universal curriculum. That's spirituality in general. Where you come from is simply window dressing. It matters in the world. And in fact, you have no doubt had many, many very important, meaningful relationships along the way to where you are right now. But someone's spiritual practice or religion does not matter in the context of learning. You can come from anywhere. You can have a single spiritual or religious practice that you adhere to. You can have many spiritual or religious practices that you adhere to, and you can have no spiritual or religious practices that you adhere to. You don't even have to believe any of this is possible. And you may even find yourself thinking, what the hell is wrong with all of these people talking about something that you can't see? But we don't see with the body's eyes. But you don't have to start there. What is relevant to healing, what is relevant to a learning situation is the teacher and the student come together for a shared purpose. What's relevant for learning purposes is that teacher and student are learning forgiveness. This is what A Course in Miracles is all about. And yes, it does have a way of forgiving that undoes the ego. And we are instructed in this way of forgiveness. We're invited to practice it. So what does the shared purpose need to be? Well, it can be a purpose as high as, I want the peace of God, and only that, as the workbook of the Course invites us to want only the peace of God. There may be some teacher-student relationships that are lifelong, and what is much more common is that there are temporary in time student-teacher relationships. Call it an epoch or an era or a period of time or a season, if that word resonates with you. These are periods of time where you come together with a group of people or someone, learn what there is to learn, and then move to another teacher when you're called. This is very common on the spiritual path, especially these days, isn't it? Isn't it? Because when you think about it, formalized religion is of the ego. Jesus is saying this. He says it right here in the supplement. Think about that. Think about that. If that gets your hackles up, no problem. What a formalized anything is defining personal territory. I am this. That implies I'm not that. And if someone is not this, then they are not this. They're separate. It's a separation. As some of you know, I have quite a bit of personal experience in this lifetime with this level, acute level of separation. I was raised in not one, but two fundamentalist Christian traditions by the time I was 15. I am from and grew up in the United States, so there is a significant percentage of the population that professes the Christian tradition, the Judeo Christian tradition. Yeah, it's significant in terms of numbers. So the first church my parents left, the second I left at age 15 after getting my driver's license, which was possible in the 1980s in the state of New Mexico, where I grew up. I was one of those kids in Sunday school that knew deep down that, well, 80% of the world was not doomed to a fiery hell, boiling lakes of fire, gnashing of teeth, and all of that drama because they went to a different building or they were born on another side of the world. No, no to that. No to the judgment. No to the condemnation. It never stuck with me. And perhaps you count yourselves among those as well. I know that a number of people, not all by any means, but many people that come to study A Course in Miracles have had this kind of experience. So it doesn't make any difference whether you come from a Judeo-Christian background or an Eastern tradition, such as Buddhism. It doesn't make any difference whether you practice universal spirituality and you have a tremendous and sometimes beautiful mix of different traditions where you've taken what applies to you right here in the present moment from different various traditions. Not a problem, right? It doesn't matter where you've come from. What matters is that you're paying attention right now and you're here to learn right now. The past is gone. And yes, formalized religion is an ego device. Can you transcend it? Of course you can. You can set it aside completely. One of the things that I love deeply about A Course in Miracles is everyone is welcome. It's a self-study curriculum. Take what you want to take at a given time. You don't have to believe a single word I say. Isn't that exciting? I mean, if somebody had told me that as a kid, I would have been really excited. It would have made my day, really, because if it doesn't ring true for you, it doesn't ring true. But you're watching. So there's something deep within you here that is calling you back. What is it that's calling you back to this course? This self-study curriculum that insists that you are not a sinner, that only God is, that insists that there is no world. What's calling you back to this? If you're watching this for the first time and you're curious about A Course in Miracles, what's calling you? Hmm? If you're a longtime student, what keeps you coming back? And if you are among the many people who have become interested in this course, delved into it and then set it aside for a period of time for whatever reason, what's calling you back? It's very common. It's very common, isn't it? What's calling you back? What's relevant to learning is a shared purpose. What's relevant is seeing someone's interests as your own. That's a shared purpose. Often in the world, we see, let's take a business coach and a client relationship as the example right here. Well, let's say the client wants one thing and the business coach wants something else. All too common, isn't it? Where the business coach has been trained in a certain modality, in a certain way of coaching. And then, of course, they bring into their relationship their experience, inevitably, right? All of their preconceived notions. And as we know, the learning in this context can only go as far as the person, teacher and student, both, right, are ready to learn. So if there's a variance, the learning's limited. It doesn't make it bad. No, it just makes it part of the experience. It is natural and sometimes necessary to move along and to seek a new teacher in certain seasons of life, isn't it? I've done that. I was raised into fundamentalist Christian traditions, left for a while, was still deeply, deeply interested in spirituality and committed to it. And I then went on to study many things, including Tibetan Buddhism, where I spent over a decade studying and practicing the Tibetan variety, Vajrayana Buddhism. That has prepared me for having the course drop in my lap. It found me, not I found it, in 2013. It's the perfect melding for me of East and West. You have Eastern terms like the ego and Western ideas such as the Holy Spirit, God, melded, blended together. And it doesn't make any difference if you've studied either Christianity or Buddhism. It doesn't make any difference if you have no spiritual practice nor inclination at all. You can still learn from a teacher. Will that be me? I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. But learning is indeed possible. We're invited in many spiritual traditions in this A Course in Miracles is certainly not alone, is it? To see another's interest as our own, to see our brother as ourself. In Christianity, we're invited to love thy neighbor as thyself. That resonated with me. So there were parts as I was sitting there bored off my ass in Sunday school that really deeply, truly connected. And that's one of them, right? When we see another's interests as our own, that's what makes learning possible. So with this course and its practice of forgiveness, we train our mind, train ourselves to see everyone's interest as our own. There is no separation of any kind. Therefore, everyone's interest, seeking the peace of God, is our own. When people go off running amok and they do their own thing in the world that you don't jive with, you don't have to jive with it. It's a forgiveness opportunity, and you can go about life as you're called to do it. Deep down, we want the same thing. And you can call it whatever name you wish to call it. Happiness and peace are love, right? These are things that pop out the most. We're all on what appears to be a journey that we call the spiritual path. We're all on the way home, or a road home, or a path. In fact, there's no road or path because we've never left. What we're doing with spiritual practice, whatever it is waking up to that. So your background doesn't matter. What matters is you're here right now. You're interested in this right now. So I'll leave you with that and invite further study and questions, of course. I very much appreciate them. And thank you for tuning in. We'll see you soon.